We begin today with the new controversy brewing in China. On Thursday, one of their high-altitude spy balloons was found above Montana. And today, President Biden is weighing his response. NewsNation has reaction from one resident of Billings, Montana, and how they felt about the reported spy balloon.
My reaction was, I believe it, you know. I believe it. I guess it didn't really surprise me.
Does it scare you at all?
Yeah, of course.
Of course it does. For the latest on this story, let's go to Allison Harris, live in Washington, D.C. Allison, anytime a balloon is flying overhead that we know may be from a foreign adversary, that has to be concerning.
Absolutely, Nick. Good morning. President Biden asked the military to present him with options on this. A senior administration official says top defense officials, including the Secretary of Defense, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and commander of Northern Command, gave the president a strong recommendation to not shoot down the balloon, even though it hovered over rural Montana, a sparsely populated area. There was concern that it would harm people on the ground. The White House saying that this spy balloon is not getting enough intelligence to pose a real threat to national security. A senior defense official says this is not the first balloon activity that the U.S. has dealt with. But this balloon has been over the U.S. for a couple of days, and it's been in the U.S. hovering higher and longer than other balloons. The Pentagon saying, quote, the balloon is over the continental United States right now. The U.S. government, including NORAD, continues to monitor it closely. The balloon is currently traveling well above commercial air traffic and does not present a military or physical threat to people on the ground. Instances of this kind of balloon activity have been observed previously over the past several years. Once the balloon was detected, the U.S. acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive information. A senior defense official says the U.S. has been in contact with China, making it clear that they will do whatever they have to do to protect the United States. Nick?
Allison, I'm not sure that I've ever heard of a balloon flying overhead before, so this is news to me. I understand that resident being surprised. The news of this balloon came right after we learned that the U.S. is expanding its presence in the Philippines, surging forces there as China tensions with Taiwan grow. What is the Biden administration saying about that and in connection with this?
Yeah, very interesting timing with all of this. On the one hand, more U.S. forces in the Philippines sends a deterrent message to China, but U.S. officials don't also want to provoke China with this. The press secretary saying this when asked if it would aggravate China.
Look, the way that I would see this is as a very important alliance and a partnership with the Philippines, as you ask about China. But that's the way that we perceive this and how we're moving forward as an important partnership and, again, an alliance that we have with the Philippines.
President Biden also promised the Prime Minister of Japan just last month that Americans would help build up the Japanese military. And overnight, we are hearing from China in response to all of this. A spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry stating, quote, China is a responsible country that has always strictly abided by international laws, and it has no intention of violating the territory and airspace of any sovereign country. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is expected to travel to Beijing next week, a trip now with even higher stakes to smooth over Chinese and U.S. relations. Nick?
Allison, I have every reason to believe that we will learn more information about this in the days ahead. Allison Harris in Washington this morning. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.